lie? Did you lie? Good to have your company, and today would have been, as I'm sure you've cottoned on by now or well aware, Diana, Princess of Wales' 60th birthday. To mark the occasion, Princes William and Harry are both going to be there making speeches at the unveiling of a statue of her. It's going to stand in the gardens at Kensington Palace, where she used to live. So we're going to talk a bit more about the statue a little bit later on. I was saying to Donna earlier on air that you almost certainly already own something by the sculptor that did the statue of Diana, because he did the bust of the Queen that's on all the coins. So if you've got a tuppence in your pocket, worked by the same artist. So it'll turn out all right if you're worried that no one's seen it yet. But while we're talking about Diana and what would have been such a landmark in her life, where she's still here to be enjoying it, Andy Broughton from Derby wrote to Diana in 1992 when his father died, asking if she would sign a photo for his mum. And she did. Actually, why am I telling this story when Andy's on the line? Hi, Andy.
Hello, Ian.
I don't want to tell the story. You were there. You're you. It's your mum and your dad. Tell me about this. 1992.
Yeah, my dad died in January 92, age 61. He had lung cancer, and because my mum was a big fan of Princess Diana, and I've been collecting autographs for years, I wrote to her and told her all the story of what happened with my dad, how quickly he was diagnosed, how quickly he died, and asked if she'd make an exception and sign a photograph for my mum, Barbara. And I got a photograph from the Derby Telegraph of a visit when she visited Derby. It was a lovely picture, a colour 10 by 8. Sent it in to her, and within a week they wrote back, the lady in waiting wrote back saying the princess was very interested in the story and she's definitely going to sign the photograph, and it had come back in due course. And she just said she inquired about where the photograph was taken because it was a particularly nice one, and I wrote back saying it was at the Derby visit to Derby in the past couple of years, and lo and behold, within a couple of weeks after that, the photograph came back, but it wasn't just signed, it was actually mounted to a bigger board, so she had a white area at the top and bottom to sign the photograph, and she put Dearest Barbara at the top and lots of Love Diana at the bottom. And it was a really rare thing to do, because she didn't give autographs. It was like a piece of gold, you know.
You said you asked if she could make an exception, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And my mum obviously treasured this photograph. We had it framed. It's a large one, probably 16 by 12 inches. It's almost like a painting. And then my mum died at exactly the same thing 10 years later, lung cancer. They were both taken, that was in 2002. So that photograph is something I treasure now as a memory of Diana and my parents. There's a nice link there, and it proved that the Queen of Hearts thing that Diana portrayed about herself was very accurate and true, and she really was interested. She didn't just sign it and say, "Oh, let's just do it and get it out of the way." She was asking questions, and was really interested in the story about my mum and how she's coping after the death of my father.
I find that a fabulous story. I mean, people might have heard you on Radio Derby before talking about your autographs and your signed photographs and the people that you make connections with, but as you say, so many must, which in itself is a generous thing, but just, scribble on a photo, fire it off, say thanks for asking, but that's so personal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, they are very valuable items. They're like works of art. I mean, since then, I bought, there was a frame presentation photograph that came up for sale, and it was in a leather frame with a gold D emblazoned at the top with a crown on it, and that was signed for a young boy that had cancer, but the fact he died and the family sold it, it was sad that they sold it, but I got it, and it cost £2,200, and that was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it is in pristine condition. It's like it had been kept in its box all the time.
I imagine they're extremely, financially valuable, especially if she didn't do so many of them. I know you never sell that one.
No, that's the thing. I mean, people say to me, would you ever sell these? And I said, no, never. It's sacrilege, really. And as you look round, I mean, if you think about young children today, there'll be people today looking at the news, and because of what you're doing and what television's doing, young children know who Princess Diana is. We're never going to forget her. She's something of an enigma, isn't she? Because people still want to know more about her after all this time. And I just think she's just somebody really special, and it's nice that they're commemorating her in this way today with a statue unveiling this afternoon.
What was your mum's reaction when that photo came through?
Oh, overwhelmed. She really was. She said it was a really, really lovely thing to do, and she wasn't one to have many pictures on the wall. Where I live now, if anyone comes here,
ridiculously vast collection, Andy. I guess that must be a special one because it's Diana, but also because it reminds you of your mum and of your dad.
Definitely, yeah, that was it. There's a nice link between the two of them there. And then she died just 5-6 years later, you know, and because it was so close to the death, you know, that's the other thing. It made it all the more poignant. And you look at it, and it's like, I don't know, to look at it, it just brings back, evokes memories all the time, you know, to look back of Diana and of my parents. And Princess Diana helped Derby as well, because do you remember when they used to do the Money Mountain in the 90s? I wrote to her and I said, would she be kind enough to send something for auction, you know, and I think it was 1995, just 2 years before she died, and she sent an enamel days box. It was a hand-painted box with to keep jewelry and things in, but inside there was an engraving with the Diana insignia. I think it went for about £800 at the time, but she again was happy to help the people. I think it was to help children in Derby, poor sick children, and she sent this box to the Money Mountain Appeal, and it's the only time that she ever did, and that helped the city enormously, you know, with the contribution to the appeal that year.
Are you looking forward to seeing this statue later on?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, of course, we've not seen any glimpses of it. I was saying yesterday to Claire that I've not seen. Of course, we've not seen anything of it, have we? It's been under wraps. I'm really looking to see how good it is. Whether the likeness is really particularly good. I'm hoping it is. I'm sure it will be because there's a big hype about it.
Be nice to see the two princes there as well.
It will, yes. I don't know quite what to make of all that still at the moment, but I'm hoping that they can sort of make up, just certainly for this today, put on a united front, and for the family more than anything else, and for the event that's happening today.
It's brilliant to talk to you. Always is, Andy. Thank you for coming on today.
Pleasure, Ian. Nice to talk to you. All the best, mate.
All the best. See you soon. Andy Broughton from Derby, and it is just gone 20 to 11.